Hello CSK family and welcome to Cat Scratch Kitchen. Okay, let's talk about eggs, or more accurately, the lack of eggs. Not only are they costing a fortune, but have you tried finding them lately? It's like a treasure hunt in the grocery store. This is all due to a widespread shortage primarily caused by a recent outbreak of avian influenza or bird flu, which has significantly reduced the population of egg-laying hens on farms, leading to lower egg production and higher prices. So I'm on a mission to bake a delicious cake without these elusive and expensive little orbs. Today we're taking one box cake mix and putting it to the test. One version with eggs, one with no eggs, and the wild card, carbonated water as an egg substitute. It's the #1 choice for replacing eggs in baking. Is that true? Well, we're going to find out. Will it work? Will it be a disaster? Well, grab your apron and let's bake, taste test, and find out if we can conquer the egg shortage and still have our cake and eat it too. Okay, the cake mix I'm using happens to be a carrot cake mix. It's what I had on hand. And I've weighed it out to make sure it was equal into 3 separate bowls. So we'll have one without anything, one with egg, and one with our substitute of carbonated water. Okay, so all the ingredients for the cake mix, of course, I'm dividing into thirds. So I have 1/3 cup of plain water. I need 1 3/4 tablespoons of oil. So this one is no egg added, no substitute added. This portion, same thing. We need 1/3 cup of water, 1 3/4 tablespoon of oil. And on this one, we'll add 1 egg. The recipe calls for 3 eggs for the total box, so we've divided into thirds. I've got 1 egg. Again, we've got 1/3 cup of water, 1 3/4 tablespoons of oil. And for our egg substitute, we're going to use carbonated water. And 1/4 cup equals 1 large egg. Now we're just going to mix each one of them well. Now this is the bowl with no added egg or substitute, and it dawned on me I'm going to be short of liquid on this one. I'm going to add the equivalent of 1 egg in water. So I've got 1/4 cup of water. Okay, and lastly, we have our mix where we added our 1 large egg. Now we're ready to add each one to our cupcake tin. I'm using different colored papers. The orange is going to be the with egg. The blue is going to be water only. And the purple is going to be with our substitute of carbonated water. So we'll start with our egg mixture. And I'm using a scoop so that we have the same amount in each one. Now we're just going to stick them in the oven using the recommended temperature and time for cupcakes that's on your box of mix. We'll see how they turn out. This is our cupcake with no substitution, no egg, just water to make up the liquid difference. And you can see it didn't hold, it sank in the middle. Now break it open. Seems pretty tender, but it's almost gummy, as if it wasn't done, but it's been in the oven more than the time it was allotted. Very, very tender, but to the point of actually you wouldn't be able to hold it as a solid cupcake. It would just fall apart. All right, this muffin is the one with the carbonated water, and you can see it didn't rise as much. It's pretty flat top. It's very tender. It's not as gummy as the first one. It did have additional baking time, but it would work in a pinch, especially if we're using it in a sheet cake. I wouldn't use it for a layer cake because it would crumble apart. It's just so tender it crumbles apart. This is our cupcake with egg. You can see the rise on it is much better. I didn't overfill these so we don't have the big dome, but the rise is still much better, still nice and tender, fully cooked. Don't have any areas that look like they need to be cooked any longer. It holds its shape, and ultimately this one is the best. So there you have it. Our eggless cake adventure is complete. What did we learn? Well, we definitely proved that you can make a cake without eggs, though the texture and taste are noticeably different. The no egg version was gummy and overly tender. It didn't hold its shape and would easily fall apart. Taste-wise, it was hard to get past the texture. And even though I added extra time to the baking, I think increasing it further would just add a burnt flavor. The carbonated water? The texture was much more like what we would expect, although I had to increase the baking time for it as well. Taste was much more of what I would look for in an egg-added mix, maybe just not quite as rich. It's definitely an interesting option. Ultimately though, the classic version with eggs still reigns supreme for that traditional cake experience. But hey, now you have some options. Speaking of options, if you're curious about other ways to replace eggs in baking, I actually have a whole video where I describe 8 popular egg substitutes. I'll link it in the description so that you can check it out and see what else works for you. Let me know in the comments which version you'd like to try, and if you do you have any other egg-saving baking tips? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tips and recipes. And until next time, have fun in the kitchen.